in this age of AI too, I think there's a different kind of incentive that's becoming even more acute as to why writing matters so much. So one of my co-founders, her name is Elizabeth Yin. She's a pretty popular venture capitalist on social media and so forth. So she puts out lots of great tweet storms or X storms, whatever we call those
Yeah,
now.
I think this event started because I subscribed to her email.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
good. Yeah. And yeah, and
chain of events that led us
right.
here.
She's a longtime blogger on her own blog, elizabethyen.com and so forth. And on our website. The thing that's kind of wild about this now, though, is we're working on some projects where we're training AI on all of her posts, and it's creating like a bot that did we just release it? Let me see if I did. It's training a bot that founders are going to be able to engage with. It's called Stella. No relation to my daughter, Stella. Oh, here we go. Yeah. So if you go to HustleFund.vc, and then there's a button on the bottom right that says ask about startups and fundraising. And that's actually going to load a bot called Dunky. There's a long inside joke behind that. Her Twitter name is DunkHippo33. It's psychotic. I have no idea why still. I've asked her several times. She can't really explain it. And then where you can actually pose questions to the Dunky AI bot, and it's trained on all of Elizabeth's content. So you can, get her perspectives on like fundraising valuations, like how to think about tranching capital raises, all sorts of interesting things. So you get that benefit if you write a lot of things down. In addition to that, too, internally, we are in the last 2 years, we've been indexing very, very hard on documentation on Notion. So all of our playbooks for like, how do we do like these founder communications? How do we host these kinds of events and so forth? And that's also can feed into like Notion AI, where we can now like have a search engine on just like, if I'm going to put together an event for 300 founders in New York City, like what are like the key documents for me to review and like the ways to get started kind of stuff. So I think just like this kind of writing is pretty substantial. And I can only imagine how much content that y'all have to train like the best stuff. I mean, you could look at like look at the top 100 performing, posts by Hacker Noon ever, and just like what are like some of the common things that like construct the great story. I'm sure y'all are starting to do those.
We did release. We call it the Learn Repo. You can see it at learnrepo.com, and it's it's organizing all of our top.
Oh, that's
I think
badass.
2,000 or 3,000 tags by the reading time. So it's giving it. We basically have given away the data of what story creates the most reading time per tag. And on the tag, ordering all the stories by reading time has created like all these listicles, but it's pretty useful data. And we'll see. I've been following the OpenAI and the AP partnership, and I'm kind of more just absorbing a little bit of this change about AI world. So I'm using AI where I can in terms of suggesting headlines, generating images, detecting if the writing is written by AI. So there's some tools that we're default checking on every story, but the broader implications of how this near human content is going to work, it's tough. I mean, when you were telling me that story about your bot, I was reminded of Molly.com, which was an old site Chris Messina made, and it was supposed to be an AMA for all these influencers like Elizabeth, when you can just say, hey, I've already answered that question. You just type it in, you type in any question, and it brings like the most relevant content from your past interviews and your past published content.
Yeah.
And that's went under. And I mean, they did it before you had all this AI that could also generate response and cite it better. And it was a little more rudimentary, but it didn't work. But the idea was super interesting because like, what if you can look at everything I've ever said in the world, you could probably guess what I'm going to say next pretty well. And so that's like true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try your bot later. I'll try it out. I'll see what I can.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're gonna probably find a way of breaking it immediately.